Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Mark Kazi here from Black Cat Comics in rockin Milpitas. Every Wednesday is New Comic Day and I like to give you some great reasons to get down to your local comic shop and pick up something fun to read. Big stacks of stuff that's fun to read this week. Got to start with the Marvel guys and their giant stack of stuff. Let's start with War of the Realms number 6. The mind-blowing conclusion to the latest big Marvel event. This thing has exploded and everybody's been super into it. So if you've been holding out for some reason, grab 1 through 5 and this week's number 6. Lot going on in this book. Sort of changing the landscape of the Marvel Universe. As there has been the last few weeks, lots of War of Realms stuff to talk about. Like Thor and the Avengers. Everybody knows I'm a big Avengers fan. These days everybody's a big Avengers fan. Again, all of this War of Realms stuff has been super popular with folks. So if there are any of these side titles you haven't been following, right here at the end might be a good time to grab the last issue, the big explosive stuff, and see what goes on, like Uncanny X-Men or War of Realms New Agents of Atlas, one of the red hot hits of this whole thing. Going to be the first issue of a new title from this stuff spinning out next week. War of Realms Superior Spider-Man wraps up the War of Realms stuff, but ties in a lot of other Spider books this week, like Amazing Spider-Man number 24, the first issue after all of that Hunted stuff. Great time to be a Spider-Man fan. If you haven't been following along, pick up the Black Cat pack of number 16 to 23 so you can catch up to all the awesomeness that was the Hunted storyline, and then grab this week's 24. Like I say, great time to be a Spidey fan like that one, or Friendly Neighborhood. Another red hot Spidey title these days. Or Spider-Man Reptilian Revenge. If you're looking for just a one-shot, something new, fun, and exciting. Or my pick of the week, Peter Porker, the Spectacular Spider-Ham. Been loving this one, since I was a little kid. There's a reprint of his first appearance out this week also as part of the True Believer stuff that I'm always encouraging you guys to pick up. Like I say, I'm a long-time fan of Peter Porker here. You can read more about that one in our newsletter. Lots of fun. Age of X-Men Extremist, along with the previously mentioned Uncanny X-Men, is just a couple of the X books to talk about, like Wolverine Exit Wounds, with a story from all-time great and legendary Chris Claremont, who we had a chance to meet last weekend. You can read more about that in our newsletter as well. X-Men Grand Design, because Chris Claremont's run on X-Men is so absolutely legendary that there are still series spinning out of it. This one is a super cool kind of retro look at some of the all-time great 80s stuff. Fun time to be an X fan. Fantastic Four, number 11, along with Avengers, one of my all-time favorite titles. Really happy to see this one back in the lineup. This is a title that obviously deserves to be at the top of everybody's Marvel list, because, well, that's the one that kicks off the Silver Age. Speaking of FF, here's Galactus on the cover of Doctor Strange. Another one of my favorite books these days. Another one of my all-time favorite guys, Mark Waid. If you haven't been following Doctor Strange, you're really missing out. This book is as good as it's ever been. Waid is, well, like I say, all-time great, and pretty much everything he touches is awesome. So pick up this one and see what I'm talking about. Black Panther. This one might be flying under your radar, but this book has been really great since the relaunch. Really cool, sort of new science fiction-y take on Black Panther and Wakanda. Everybody's been a Black Panther fan these days. So again, if you haven't been following this one, pick up the trade paperback that kicks off the current arc, because it's been really cool. And speaking of really cool, Thanos. That just says it all right there in the title, right? And The Magnificent Miss Marvel is one of many millennial Marvel heroes this week. Say that times five times fast. Like Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, or Marvel Rising, or Runaways. And just as you're thinking, how many books can Marvel put out in a week? There's all kinds of external stuff like Age of Rebellion, Darth Vader. Read more about this one on our newsletter this week. Loving this Age of Heroes stuff that's been going on, or Age of Rebellion stuff that's been going on. Love everything that Marvel's been doing with their Star Wars line, like Galaxy's Edge. If you haven't been on the ride, at least you can read the comic. And last but not least, Conan the Barbarian. Great to see the Barbarian back in the Marvel lineup. Really, really huge week for the Marvel guys. So like I say, if there's a Marvel book you're not following, this is a good week to check it out. Great week for the DC guys too. Very small week, but packed with greatness, like Batman Damned #3, the book that has just exploded across the internet. You probably have 1 or 2 copies of #1, at least I hope you do, otherwise it's going to cost you a few bucks. Pick up this latest issue to see how it all wraps up. This DC Black Label stuff has been really cool. Grab that Superman Year 1 from last week if you missed it. Batman Beyond. One of my favorite Bat titles. I always like to highlight this one because it shows the range of stuff that they do with the character. I like Old Man Bruce Wayne. Action Comics from Brian Michael Bendis. Again, one of the biggest comics out there these days. One of the best books DC has. Great, great time to be a super fan with this one and Superman and Supergirl. Adventures of the Super Sons. Bendis is another all-time great, and he's really kicking butt with the super titles this week. So if you're one of those people who has never read Superman because they love Batman so much, pick up that Action Comics 1000 and catch up to this week's 1012. Or if you're following that Event Leviathan stuff, you're going to want to jump in on this super stuff as well. Wonder Woman. Also one of the best titles DC has. Also a book that should definitely be on the top of your stack whenever it rolls out. Great stories, great art, like we always say. And Flash continues the Year 1 stuff. Everybody likes a reanalysis of a good origin story, and everybody's loving the Flash these days. Again, if for some reason you're not following this one currently, pick up number 70 or 71 to jump in on this Year 1 stuff. And Justice League Dark is your team book for the week. A lot of Justice League stuff going on these days. Of course, the main title is one of the hottest books in comics. But if you're skipping on Justice League Dark or Justice League Odyssey, you might be missing out on something cool. Just grab this week's Dark and see what I'm talking about. Martian Manhunter is your mini-series of the week. And then we've got some sadness. The Silencer and Terrifics are some of your New Age of Heroes books, though I think this New Age of Heroes thing is going away. But Dial H for Hero for Wonder Comics. Wonder Comics isn't going anywhere. But got a couple Vertigo titles. Books of Magic is your Sandman Universe book, and High Level is your other Vertigo book of the week. We hear that they're dropping this Vertigo stuff and sort of incorporating all their lines into one big thing, and frankly that makes us a little sad because we've always been huge proponents of Vertigo comics. So we're sorry to see them go, and really encourage you guys to go back and take a look at the astonishing history that Vertigo has provided us with things like Sandman and Why the Last Man and Fables and Preacher, and on and on and on it goes. Great, great stuff. And last but not least is this cool YA book from DC. DC Inc. is one of their newer imprints as they say goodbye to some of the other classic things. They're sort of doing a lot of reinvention with things like Wonder Comics and DC Inc. This one's about Raven, one of the most popular Teen Titans maybe ever. And they have a whole bunch of different books in this line, so if you're looking for something different but superhero related, try some of this DC Inc. stuff. Lots and lots of fun. And a great week for the other guys too. How about some Stranger Things? This is 6, number 2. You know about 11, but you don't know much about 6. So grab the first series. There's 4 issues that takes place during the TV show, during season 1. And then pick up the new series and get a little backstory on one of the other characters. Fun stuff. Fight Club 3 is my other Dark Horse book of the week, because I love me some Dark Horse. Great week for the Image guys. How about Spawn number 298? Getting closer and closer to number 300. You might recognize this cover that McFarlane did back in the day for Amazing Spider-Man number 298. He's going to be doing some of his homaging some of his own work as we get closer to Spawn 300. Really great. You know, we've always been talking up Spawn all these years. Great story, great art. Great to see Image Comics still going after all these years. Spawn going after all these years. Still doing his thing. Like I say, this is number 298. Only a couple issues to go. Grab the 296 to start the whole road to 300 thing. And Deadly Class. It's your other Image book of the week, because you guys love these streaming TV show comics. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is one of my Boom Studios books of the week, because you guys love the MMPR, and there's a lot going on in this particular issue, so you're probably already in line at your favorite comic shop for this one. But Angel It's my other Boom Studios book of the week because I love me some Angel. I love the Whedonverse. He's taken all of this over to Boom Studios and restarted the whole thing as if it had never happened before. So jump in on Buffy and Angel and see as Joss tells the whole story from the beginning. Great stuff. Battlestar Galactica. It's my Dynamite book of the week because I love me some Battlestar Galactica, and I love me a lot of things that Dynamite's doing these days. Transformers and Ghostbusters is your IDW book of the week. You know, we live in an era of mashups. I just love all the team-up books that have been coming out, and here's another great one. I'm also looking forward to Bionic Woman and Charlie's Angels, to just throw a little tangent out there. Bloodshot is my Valiant book of the week. Always encouraging you guys to have a Valiant book on your list. And last but not least is Disney's Afternoon Giant. This big old chunky collection of Disney stories. Really great to see the Disney stuff in comics. Always encouraging you guys to have an all-ages book on your list because all the different publishers do great all-ages stuff. And like I say, it's always fun to have a Disney book in your stack. Lots and lots of great titles this week, so check those shipping lists, get down to your shop, pick up something super awesome. Want to remind everybody that the Black Cat Comics Rockin' Milpitas pre-Comic-Con Comic-Con is right around the corner. Big, big fun. The week before the big show down in San Diego, we put a little soiree together to have a little fun and show you guys some of the things that they do down in San Diego. We got movie night, we got swap meet, we got all kinds of fun stuff going on, so check the events page at black-cat-comics.com to read all about it. That's all we got for you for this week. You can check us out at black-cat-comics.com and check out our especially cool Shopify store. Check out the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. Check out the podcast at soundcloud.com. Just get on down here to the good old brick and mortar in Rockin' Milpitas. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.